Good afternoon, everybody. We'll get started in just a couple of moments' time. I hope you're all having a fun day. We've actually got a very rare event today in the UK. We have sunshine, or as we call it, not rain. So that's a huge win for us. We will get started in just a few seconds. I'm just going to get everybody on and then we'll get moving. Heads up though, as always, we are recording this session. I know that during the course of this session, I'm going to get asked 100 times, are you recording it? Yes, we're recording it. As always, and we'll try and get the recording out before the weekend. Now, the other thing that I need to say as well, other piece of housekeeping. I unfortunately have a calendar clash that I have not been able to resolve sufficiently ahead of this today, largely because events have overtaken me relatively late on. So I'm going to make an introduction, then I will disappear for about 10 minutes, but then I'll be back for the rest of this session. This session to me, I'll introduce our guest in a moment's time properly, is one I've wanted to do for a while. In fact, we've been talking about doing this, I think, for 4 months now. And it's taken 4 months to get it on the calendar. But let me give you the background as far as I'm concerned, then I'll introduce our guest. Housekeeping. Can you hear me? Everybody hear me? Everybody see me? Just realized I hadn't asked.
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Excellent. If you can hear me, stick it in the chat box. Let me know you're here. Because people are still piling in, as always, which is cool. I'm glad to have everybody here. So, why does today matter? It used to be on Google, one of the tricks that we would pull regularly for AdWords was if we saw a client, or we took on a client that had got a dozen reviews that were in their search engines listings or were otherwise recognized in Google, and we knew that we could get them up to 30 reviews in Google, we would get the review stars in their Google ads. Why do I care? I care because if I get the review stars in their Google ads, bear in mind that in Google AdWords, if it drops below a 4-star review, it doesn't show it, so there's no downside. If you got above a 4-star review in Google, I got 30 of them. When I put that live, and there's nothing to do to put it live per se within AdWords, once you enable it, it works, and Google automatically activate them for their Google ads, then we would get an increase in click-through rate on our ads. We would get a decrease in cost per click, and we would also get a higher conversion rate on the website. So for me, that was a massive, massive win, because from an AdWords perspective, we didn't have to do anything to get that win other than say to the client, hey, Mr. Client, go out and get some few more reviews and you're golden with this. It's going to be really good. It was a really easy win for very little effort. Those were, I guess, technically the good old days that ended about 18 months ago. I think it was about January, February last year it ended, when Google went, 30 reviews is a bit easy to get. Let's make it 150 within a 12-month period. So for some small businesses, that was good night because they might not serve 100 customers in a year. If you're a roofer, you're not doing 100 jobs a year. So your ability to have a review star against your Google ad was kind of gone forever. But some businesses could still get it. But what we found in many businesses, it wasn't that they could never get it. It was because they didn't have good process to get them. Many businesses will do more than 100 transactions a year or 150, but they don't systematically gather the reviews properly. They don't get them. And in a market where you're competing against other people who are less organized, you win. So I've wanted for a while now to find a way to bring Reputation into our community, to share the latest and greatest information on it, And so the person I turn to for that is Philippe, who joins us from the call today from his interestingly soundproofed room, because it's the middle of the night with him. Philippe, where are you today?
I'm in Nha Trang in southeast Vietnam.
So Philippe's in South Vietnam. Obviously, you'll tell from his accent he is not Vietnamese. At home for you, Philippe, is?
France.
Well, there you go.
South of France, Provence.
If anyone has been to Provence, you'll know it's beautiful there.
It is.
Philippe has been working at a blue chip level with corporates like Walmart, with Costco, on customer service, on customer satisfaction, online reputation impacts, and knows more about this than just about anybody I know. And you might sometimes not always like some of the things he's going to say, because some of the things he'll say might be quite controversial, but that doesn't make them wrong. So with that, Philippe, I will hand over to you. Please, everybody, pay plenty of attention to Philippe, and he will have things that you need to hear if you are involved in reputation, if you're thinking of getting involved in reputation. And just before I hand over, one last question. Who here currently offers reputation-based services to their clients? Give me a quick yes in the chat if you do. Tim says yes, John says yes, Brian says yes, VJ yes, Brian says yes, Thomas as always yes, Jill yes, and some people saying not yet as well. So if that's you, pay attention, because even if you're doing this already, there are things that you need to know that Philippe is going to share. So please make sure you pay attention to that.
That would be interesting, yeah.
I will be back in about 10 minutes. And with that, Philippe, do you want to, if you've got a screen you want to share?
Yeah, let me check if you see my screen. So when I share my screen, do I disappear? How's it working?
You can turn your camera off. If you don't turn your camera off, your little head will appear at the top of the screen.
Okay.
Okay, you're coming through loud and clear. We've got you. See your screen.
Good. Perfect.
Bear with me, guys. I will be disappearing, but I will be back very shortly.
Okay, see you soon. Let me check. All right. So, first of all, thank you very much, Rob, for inviting me to this presentation tonight. Very excited, very honored to be here with you guys. This topic is something that is very dear to my heart. We have been working on that since the past 3 years, like crazy dogs, and actually the platform exists since 10 years now. So it has been a lot of development since. But like Rob said, we have been working on this with a lot of big brands and international businesses, and so we have some interesting feedback and background from those big guys, and we also work with agencies like you guys. So let me turn my camera off. I don't think you need to see my face all the time. So what I would like to talk to you about today is pretty much the state of online reviews, and for those who already are offering that type of service, you will probably find some information you already know, but also some information that you most likely don't know yet. So the thing is, nowadays, especially online, trust is what we call the new currency. When you run a business, whether you're a local business or if you have an e-commerce shop, or you just have a brick and mortar business, people will no longer trying to find the best deal, but they will want to make sure they are going to do business with a business they can trust. And this is super important. Basically nowadays, especially online, all the businesses looks pretty much like the same, unless people can measure the satisfaction from their customers. So it's pretty much like when you walk in a mall, and it's almost sort of like all the stores, all the front doors are exactly the same, and the only criteria that could make a difference to differentiate all those businesses is online reviews and star ratings. So that's why businesses, companies that are attracting a 5-star overall reputation are winning the game and taking advantage of that. Because today, everybody has an opinion, and everybody is going online sharing their opinion. And the internet is the modern court of public opinion. So, as you may have already heard, a customer who has a bad experience with a business statistically will, what is interesting is the difference between how much a satisfied customer is sharing the information of his nice experience with a business with his friends and family members. Typically, a satisfied customer share his experience with 1 to 3 people. On the other side, when a customer is not happy with a business, he will share this bad experience with 5 to 10 people physically, like closest friends. But obviously they don't stop there. They go online, they go on social media and review sites to publicly pretty much kill the company for the bad experience they have been delivering to them. So we are no longer talking about 5 to 10 people, but 25, hundreds, and maybe thousands of people who will be able to see the negative experience they have been getting from this business. So anybody can voice their opinion about any business, even if they have never been a customer, and that's a big problem. So whether it's a disgruntled employee, whether it's ex-wife or ex-husband or crazy customer, even someone that is not a customer can leave a feedback on your business. So that means that the brand and the rating and the reviews the brand will collect will be the image like people will have about the company. And what is interesting here is the gap between what businesses feel or think about the nature or the quality of service they offer to their customer and the reality from the customer perspective. So according to a study that Bain & Company did, they found out that 80% of the businesses say that they deliver a superior customer service to their customers. But the reality is when we ask to those customers the same question from their perspective, only 8% of them say that those same companies are delivering a high quality of customer service. So as you can see, there is a massive gap between the business perspective and the customer perspective. So what I would like to do is to quickly introduce some facts about online reviews. So what I call the state of online reviews. The recent study from Bright Local, every year Bright Local is producing a very interesting study from the local consumers. And this year, well, in 2017, they found that 97% of consumers looked online for local businesses. And also that from those people, 73% of those consumers says that positive reviews make them trust a local business more, which makes sense. What is very interesting here is that 85% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendation from close friends or family members. In 2016, it was 84%. So the trend is growing. Every year, consumers trust online reviews more and more. So what kind of impact reviews can have on a business? So we're going to see here what kind of return on investment reviews can produce for a business. So studies have shown that positive reviews have an impact on website traffic from organic search. So when you search for a business and the business shows up in the results, businesses with positive ratings and positive reviews see an increase of website traffic by 36%. But also what is very important is the amount of increase in conversions, 41% increase in conversion, which is absolutely massive. And obviously in sales, the impact is also very important. 44% increase in sales when the business shows up with positive reviews and a very good review rating. So how is this possible? How can positive reviews can have such a massive impact on those results and on the return on investment for a business? So it's quite easy to understand when you think about a review as a customer referral. So a customer referral is basically a private conversation, like someone is recommending your business to a friend. So that's a private discussion, a private recommendation. Where an online review is like a public announcement. It's like the same guy goes on the roof of the church of the city and is shouting to everybody all the good thing or all the bad thing is thinking about a business. And that's what an online review is. The same thing, a customer referral is something that happens a small number of times. So the person will talk to his friend or his friends sometimes when you think about it, where an online review is the same principle, the same recommendation, but the difference is that it sticks and it's there as permanent advertising for the business 24 hours, 7 days a week. So again, it's one time versus a pretty much infinite number of times. Also, a customer referral will only influence few people, handful of people, or just one, where an online review has a much broader potential impact, where it's unlimited potentially and could influence hundreds of thousands of people, or even hundreds of thousands of people, depending on the scale of the brand. When we're talking about large brands, it could be even millions of people. So the customer first impression is probably going to start with Google when the customer is looking for a business online. So doing a search, is looking for any type of business, and the first thing they will do is to check the reviews. That is now becoming a reflex, like a second nature. When we go online, we check what other people are saying about that business because we relate to that. Remember, 85% of people trust reviews as much as personal recommendation from friends. So The overall reputation score is visible in the search results and has a major impact on the consumer's decision. Whether your business is doing offline marketing or online marketing doesn't matter. If you run, even if you run printed ads, the consumer will still go online and check about the business, and that's something that is very important when you run paid traffic for your clients. The very first thing you need to check is if they have a nice online reputation. Because let's think about it for a minute. If you run AdWords campaign or Facebook ads or any type of paid traffic, and the business has a poor online reputation, what happens is when the consumer check online for that business, because they will, even if it's an ad, they will check online. And what happens is if they stumble across a poor online reputation, they will compare to other businesses in the same market because they are looking for a product or service, and they don't really care if it's the business who is advertising or not. What they're looking for is a business that will provide a good service or a good product. And what happens is if the business you're promoting through paid advertising has a poor reputation, the consumer will choose the other business who has a better reputation. And basically what you just did is to spend money to send traffic to the competitor. That's pretty much what happens when we are running traffic to businesses with a poor reputation. So that's something I strongly recommend as a marketer. You check before you spend any money on a paid ad. Check the reputation first, and if it's not in good shape, make sure to reverse the trend.
Philippe, do you mind if I just interject for 1 second?
Absolutely.
Just with an example of that. We had a client who had a big spend and had a 4.2 Google star reviews in there, showing in their ads. They got plenty of reviews, and elsewhere around the internet, they got good review scores. They changed their business practices, and the outcome of that change was that their reviews fell off a cliff, and they went from 4.2, and all their peers in their would all got good reputations, were all around the same mark. They sort of first fell to about 3.5, and then fell to below 3. Now, their Google ads stopped showing the stars, so that bit was okay. But their review site ratings and even the widget they had on their own website was showing them with a review of below 3. And the AdWords campaign went from being highly, highly profitable at a cost per lead of, if I recall rightly, about $18. Our challenge was, they set us a goal of 25. We got down to 8. And within a month, we were well over 30. And we couldn't get it back. There was nothing we could do. It had a direct business impact in weeks. And it can make or break. And it wasn't even just the Google effect. It was outside of that. So it really does have a huge impact.
Yeah, definitely. It's impressive. It's really a massive decision factor nowadays.
Well, we lost the client as a result. I mean, as an agency, we lost the client because their campaign was no longer profitable.
Yeah.
The campaign was better run than it had ever been, but we couldn't fix the issue which was on them. So that's why, as an agency owner, it isn't just about the client. It's about keeping your client, engaging them, and being able to sell them and expand. Because you can't do that if their reputation sucks.
Yeah, it reminds me an experience we had with a franchisee from the Denny's restaurant chain in the US. this particular restaurant had a very poor online reputation, and he absolutely wanted to run Facebook ads. And we told him, we highly recommend you don't do that because it will not be beneficial to you. You will hurt your business even more. And what happened is that, like we predicted, we were running those Facebook ads, and what happened is that he was collecting even more negative reviews. So we were spending money for him to collect negative feedback, and because at the end of the day, they were not doing a good job, and their processes were not good, and the staff they were hiring was not performing correctly, and so on. So obviously, they're a much more process to review. When a business collects so many negative reviews, there is a reason. When there are legitimate negative feedback, I'm not even talking about fake reviews from competition or disgruntled employees or ex-partners, stuff like that. I'm talking about legit negative reviews. So that's super important. Never run a campaign if if the business has not at least, and that's funny that you just mentioned that. My benchmark is 4.2. If the business has less than 4.2 overall reputation online, don't run Facebook ads or AdWords or anything. Make sure you fix their online reputation first.
Absolutely. Can I ask a question to everybody on the webinar? Who here checks the online reputation and the reviews of a prospect before taking them on as a client? Hit me a yes or a no in the chat. Bill says every time. David, yes. Tom, yes. Gareth, every time. Tom, every time. Yes. Interesting. And does anybody here take an action if they see a score that you consider unacceptable? Anybody say no or stop following up as a result of bad reviews? Put it on hold. Stop it. Yeah. Horrible experience when taking on prospects with horrible reviews. Couldn't agree more. If someone's constantly getting horrible reviews, I think Tom's right. Tom says if you think you can fix it, great. That's an opportunity to fix a reputation. But if you can't, my personal view is run for the hills.
Yeah, I would say it really depends. There's two types of situation, I would say, is that there is the business that has been unlucky with his online reputation. It's maybe competition is trying to kill them or to get them to bite the dust, or any reason that could trigger negative feedback. So that's the type of business we obviously want to help to fix the situation. But there's the second situation where the business is not delivering a good service or a good product. So, and they have no intention of improving their processes or their system, or they couldn't care less about their customer satisfaction. Personally, I will not help that type of business because we just can't. If they are not committing to improve their processes or change their mindset or educate their staff better or do whatever it takes to provide a better quality of service for the customer. They don't deserve to get a system that will collect more positive reviews, because at the end of the day, they will not collect more positive reviews if they still continue to deliver such bad customer experience.
Agreed. Philippe, I'll let you carry on. I interrupted.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. So another very interesting study from Insight, it shows that a single negative review could end up losing 30 customers or more. So again, it really depends on the nature of the review and also how the business will respond to that negative review. Sometimes, and I would say oftentimes, I would say that negative review could be beneficial to the business, but it really depends on the nature of the review, and we will see that in a moment. But that also shows the power, the impact of a negative feedback, especially since I think it was last year when Google decided to show up, to display the reviews the moment you had one review. I think a few years back, it was you had to have at least 5 reviews to for Google to display the overall rating. But now, as soon as you have one Google review, whether it's a 1 star or a 5 star, boom, Google display the review. So I've seen businesses getting just 1 star review having a lot of issues with that and a lot of bad impact on their business. On the other end, positive reviews also obviously build trust and increase sales, as we have seen. And that graph here is very interesting, especially for you guys who are running e-commerce stores or running campaigns for e-com product. You can see here the impact on sales depending on the number of reviews. So we start with a 1 review and we see a 10% lift on the sales, on the purchase, on the online purchase. And you can see 50 reviews, 30% lift, 100 reviews, 37% lift. So depending on the size of the business, a 7% difference between 50 review and 100 reviews could be massive. At the end of the year, it could be a gigantic increase in sales. And obviously, when you reach that point of 200 reviews, 44% lift is just absolutely insane. And it doesn't matter what type of industry, what type of niche. It's really across the board. So, as a conclusion to this, the customer experience is critical to improve the marketing ROI. It's not just about running good ads, good copy, and having a nice image and all the whole 9 yards of automations and all the good thing we could have in our marketing arsenal. At the end of the day, what makes a business thrive is the customer experience. And actually, we found that the only real KPIs that allows a business to predict, so to speak, its future is to be able to measure customer satisfaction. And when you can measure customer satisfaction, you can pretty much predict that the business is going to thrive. On the other hand, if the customer satisfaction is going down, you can pretty much predict that sales are going to fall off. So that's very important. We found that Google provided this source that the ad spend was going down by 19% with a 5-star Google rating. So I think it's pretty much in line, consistent with what you just said
Mine
earlier.
was 20. I was 1 off. So my apologies, everybody. I've misled you. It's 19, not 20.
Okay. So not too far. So it's and the reason is so what is interesting here, and I'm going to jump quickly on this link. So this is a client of an agency that is using our system that have the star snippets showing up not only if they run ads on Adwords, they would show up because they have quite a significant amount of reviews. But what is interesting here is that the star snippet shows up in the organic results on the inner pages. So whether you see here the Dry Sim Pro /reviews. So the star snippet here shows up in the results. And that's something that is obviously pretty cool when you compete with other businesses that don't have those 5 stars showing up. So let's imagine that you have this Dreamsteam Pro and you have just above or under another Steam whatever type of business without the store snippet. So obviously the reflex, the impulse we all have is to first check the business with a 5-star. That's in our human nature. As a conclusion to this ROI about ratings and review, again from this study from Insight, they have found that the average order value is up 10% when the business has positive feedback and positive reviews. A conversion increased by 83%, revenue per visit plus 98%. That's absolutely mind-blowing. And customer satisfaction, that's funny. When people read positive feedback online, automatically their own customer satisfaction increase automatically. There's we also had a study that was showing in the retail stores, when a business is simply displaying the question, your feedback matters, or we would like to hear from you. By just having this question, we have seen a bump in customer satisfaction by 10%, just by asking the question, nothing else. So that's just because the customer realized that the business cares about their voice. That's very important. So we're entering the second section of this presentation, which is the controversy section. And I expect that a lot of people here will be reacting a lot about what I'm going to explain here.
Everybody pay extra attention. This is important.
Yeah. So I've run, each and every time I'm talking about this online with marketers, there is the hit goes on and it becomes very emotional and becomes very dynamic, very hot discussion. But so we're going to talk about the two biggest mistakes marketers make with online reputation. And the thing is, 99% of marketers don't even know that what they're doing with online reputation management and marketing is wrong. And the thing is, it's not your fault because you have been taught by marketers who are running software, online marketing, reputation marketing software, that you could do that. And it may be the case, like still 3 or 4 years ago, you could do that. But since 2016, what you have been doing for the past years is no longer acceptable. And we will see in a few minutes the scope of what acceptable means. And we are going to talk about reviews, regulation, and consumer protection. 2 years ago, something happened in the online reviews world. Until then, reviews was a marketing topic, and that's it. Like SEO is a marketing topic, like Adwords is a marketing topic, but reviews has shifted from being a marketing practice to something that is now regulated by law. It's not just only a marketing practice, it's now regulated by law. And when I mention law, I'm talking about the FTC, something that you probably know very well in the US. The FTC is following the guidelines of an international network of consumer protection called the ICPEN. And The ICPEN, the International Consumer Protection and Enforcement Network, is a network of organizations like the FTC across the world that is legalizing several things to protect the consumer, especially online, and whether it's online or offline. So what is important here is that in the Section 5A of the FTC Act, it is said that this FTC Act prohibits unfair or deceptive acts or practices in or affecting commerce. And this prohibition applies to all persons engaged in commerce, including banks, including practitioners in the health industry, everybody, as long as there is a transaction with a customer, a patient, or a client. So what does it mean? It means like the FTC is following the ICPN guidelines for review administrators. So what is a review administrator? A review administrator is someone who is collecting a review. When you ask a customer, a patient, or a client to leave a review, you become a review administrator. And as such, according to the ICPN and according to the FTC, you have responsibilities and you have duties. And one of those responsibilities is to, and this is the exact terms that are in the FTC Act. Reviews have to, so the review administrator has to be equal and fair in the collection of reviews. We will see that that's what we call the no gating thing. The second point is the review administrator has to be transparent in the publication of reviews. That means you can no longer filter the negative reviews. And the third point is that the administrator of the review has to be alert and proactive in the moderation of the review. So not only it's your responsibility to collect reviews in an equal and fair way, but you also have to be moderating the reviews. So it's not just collecting reviews, but you have to moderate. And what does it mean by moderation? It means that you have to make sure that all the reviews are coming from verified customers or patients that are not fake and are absolutely legitimate. That's the guidelines from the ICPEN, which the FTC is now following. So that means that the gating if you are running, already offering reputation marketing services to your clients or to the business you are working with, you may use that type of gating question. Would you recommend us? Yes or no? If they say yes, great. You send them to Google or to somewhere else to leave a feedback. If they say no, you just send an email to the business owner saying, hey, this guy is not happy, do something with it. This is no longer acceptable. This is illegal. And when I say illegal, it's not just, I'm not talking about marketing. I'm not talking about Google potentially going to penalize you or your client by maybe removing their reviews online or whatever. This is a legal thing. The FTC says you can no longer gate reviews. That's the Section 5A of the FTC Act. So that means that if you provide that type of gating, your agency could be in trouble, or the clients that are using that system could be in trouble as well. The second thing is the filtering. Filtering is where you collect reviews and you only display the positive one. That, again, is now illegal according to the ICPN and to the FTC. So that means that the system, the platform you're using, and most of them, especially in the US, are not respecting the US and international laws. And most of them will be in complete denial, saying, that's bullshit, we can do it, there's nothing that will prevent us from doing it. The thing is, when they do that, they just don't realize that, like I said earlier, reviews are now regulated by the FTC. It's not just a risk of getting banned by Google or Yelp or TripAdvisor or any of those platforms. I don't care about those platforms. What should matter here is the FTC and what the ICPN says. And that's in line with the coming standard that is going to be published very soon, which is the ISO standard. The ISO standard has been talked about for the past few months and last year, so to speak, pretty much. And the ISO standard has been gathering people like Google, Facebook, Yelp, TripAdvisor to discuss the future of online reviews, because it's such a big matter. It's such a big topic that they agreed to meet and to discuss how this should be handled, whether it's on the consumer side or on the business side. Because now what is going to happen in the future, even the private person, the customer, the consumer, who is going to leave a fake review will also be in trouble with those organizations. It will become illegal to leave a negative feedback. If me, as a private consumer, if I go online and leave a negative feedback to a business that have not had any transaction, I could be sued by those legal organizations, and the fine could go up to $40,000 for a personal person, just a single dude. But for a business, if they have practices that are wrong regarding reviews, the fine has no limit. So again, that's something that is very important. It's not just only losing few reviews here and there. Just imagine a dentist or a doctor, a chiropractor, or whoever, a surgeon that is doing that type of thing. He could potentially lose his license and basically lose his business. Because what is important here to understand is how the FTC works. Most of the time when I explained that to marketers, they said, well, that's bullshit, because what I'm doing is completely under the radar, and nobody is going to find me. And even if they find me, how do you think they could enforce what the potential law, again, when they are in denial? Well, the thing is, the FTC doesn't work like that. It's not, they don't try to detect anything. They are not Google. They are not online searching for who is doing what and are they doing things properly. The FTC works on denunciation. So if you are an unhappy customer and you leave a negative feedback to a dentist or to a restaurant, and that you realize your negative feedback has not been published, you potentially could, or the customer that is not happy could go to the FTC and submit a claim and say, hey, this business is hiding my negative feedback. And then what the FTC is going to do is to check this business. And if it's in an industry they are going after, because that's how they do, they are grouping their action industries by industries. They have been hitting hard the car industry recently, where a car group has been fined $3.6 million for bad practices with online reviews. So that's how important the topic is. And that's why you need to consider, when you choose an online reputation software, you need to make sure that it is compliant, not only with the ICPN, but if you're dealing with doctors and the health industry, you need to make sure it's HIPAA compliant and ISO compliant, because it's has been published now, so it's going to be in full force.
Philippe, can I just jump in at this point?
Sure.
Briefly. Everybody, when I said before, this bit's important, this is really important. For exactly the reasons Philippe says. I want to ask a question. How many people knew, prior to Philippe saying it a few minutes ago, that review management had legal consequences? Not Google consequences, not Facebook consequences or policies within a platform, legal consequences. Who knew that? Anybody? Yeah, people, and everybody's saying no, they didn't know that. And I'll be honest, when Philippe and I started talking about this, I didn't know either, because the simple fact is, you can't gate reviews, you can't filter reviews, and if you try and game the system, either as a person, as an individual, on the side of somebody leaving false reviews, or if you're a business owner offering services that either offer false reviews or manipulate reviews or gate them, you're in trouble. If you're a client using that, because think about it this way from a client's perspective. A client hires you guys to do reputation management. You go, great, I've got the platform, I'll look after you. Here we go. But then they enforce something that, or supply something that actually is not legally compliant, and they get in trouble. I'm pretty sure who I know they're going to blame for that and who will be next down the list of getting sued. They're going to go after whoever supplied the service. And in turn, you may be able to go after the software provider. But I personally would prefer not to be on the end of a lawsuit, even if I can ultimately go and sue another third party, because I've still got to win 2 legal cases and pay the defense. So to me, it's really, really important that we understand sometimes, as marketers, we often forget. You know, we think of, it's a trick to do this. We'll do this because it's smart marketing. There is a difference between smart marketing and being legally compliant. And they will go after individuals. I mean, everybody's heard the story from several years ago, where even the likes of Frank Curtin got fined huge sums of money by the FTC. So if anybody thinks they don't pay attention to agencies and small digital businesses, they took him for a lot of money. So I personally think if you're in this space or you're thinking about being in this space, pay attention to this, because it really matters. And I've seen a couple of discussions on it, and people still confuse Google policy and the law. Now, one more final point before I let Philippe move on with this. At the moment, everybody is getting all upset and all bent out of shape about GDPR that's coming in. And for good reason. GDPR is a European regulation, but it has a worldwide impact. But actually, providing you take a few basic steps, for most people, the chances of an EU country going after a small US business on a good day may be near zero. On a bad day may actually be zero. On the other hand, the FTC in the country that you own and operate in, when they're targeting an industry with bad practice, there's every chance they'll go after people in that industry. So I personally think if I had to focus my time and effort on either of those two things, I'd be focusing it first and foremost on being compliant from a reputation point of view, because the risks are far higher. So that's my bit over. There's a couple of people asking about the legislation. and those kind of things. If you're asking questions that are not answered, I will pick them up. I just want to let Philip get through everything, and I'll pick them up later on. So if you've got questions, keep firing in the chat box, keep them coming. I will jump onto them at an appropriate point. Carry on, Philippe. I'll be quiet now.
Great. Yeah, thank you for your input. Yeah, it's a very important topic, and again, I would not be surprised if you're shocked by this information, and again, like Rob says, it's not just Google rules or breaking their guidelines or whatever. It's now a legal thing, and as such, it should be taken care of very, very seriously. So let's moving on. So as an example, what I wanted to show you is how we ReputationAegis handle that type of thing. And I'm going to show you an example of a car dealer in the US who we are. So it's an agency is selling reputation service to this client using our system. So let's go online and have a look. Well, actually, the page is already here. So what you see here is what we call our reputation review page. So that's a page where we aggregate all the reviews from all the review sites where this business is listed on. So basically, as you can see here, they are listed on Google, on Car Gurus, on Cars, on Edmunds, on Killy Blue Book, etc. So we collect reviews, we aggregate reviews from all those different review sites, and we aggregate them to this review page. And this review page is an animal that lives in three states, I would say. First, it's a standalone mini website that we send to Google, and as a Google partner, we send this to Google for them to index this page, which will obviously help a lot in the search results. And we get this all those reviews that are collected, aggregated, showing up on this review page. And as you can see here, as a review administrator, we display the negative review. The thing is, in such situation, a negative review when you have a business that is collecting a lot of positive feedback, at some point is very valuable, especially if the business responds to that review, which the business has not done here, so that's not good. They should have responded to that negative feedback from this unhappy customer. But what is important here is to see that a negative feedback could, in fact, make the other reviews that are 4-star and 5-star more legitimate. Because at some point, when a business only has 4- and 5-star reviews, especially only 5-star reviews, it looks fake and it looks strange and suspect or suspicious. So from time to time, having a negative feedback doesn't hurt that much if it is in the context like this one here of a review page where a lot of reviews, positive ones, are aggregated. So again, it's our responsibility to display those negative reviews. So on this review page, you see that there's 3 main sections. The first section here is where we give the opportunity to the customer to leave a feedback, give a title to their experience, and share their experience and submit that review. And I will show you a test in a few moments. Then we have this middle section with all the reviews coming from different places. So these ones are coming from our platform, but if I go down, you could see we have reviews from Facebook, from Google, Let's scroll down a bit further. Well, it seems that it's a lot of reviews from our platform. Again, you see another negative feedback here. So, oops, let me close that down. So, and on the right section, what you can see is we are showing a rating, an overall rating across the board. So it's across all the review sites. And also we show the rating distribution. So the customer can see that it's very transparent. We have 73% of 5-star review, and we have 6.8% of 1-star reviews. So the consumer can have a very clear perception of the overall reputation of this business. Then we provide basic information like opening hours and that type of thing, a link to their website, and a map where the consumer can find them. Also, we allow them to meet the team. So not only we allow the consumer to leave a rating about the business, but they can also tie the review to one of the employee who served them. So on the back end of the software, the business manager or the HR manager will be able to measure the performance of his employees, and that's very, very important. So if we have time, I will show you how this works. Then we show the consumer a very clear distinction and rating, overall rating across the different review sites. Also, we can upload photos from the business, videos from the business, and also the customer can upload their own pictures and their own videos on that review page. So that's a quick overview of how we, as a review customer intelligence platform, we are compliant with those rules and those laws. So let me go back to the keynote here.
So yeah, one of the reasons it's compliant is because everything is published, it isn't hidden, it isn't filtered, it's all available on the page.
Yes, absolutely. So one distinction here, as a review administrator, so let me go back here to this. As a review administrator, so as a review platform, we have to publish all the reviews we collect. However, we don't have to publish the negative feedback the business could receive on third-party review sites. So, for example, if a customer leaves a negative feedback on Google, we will not display this negative feedback on the review page because we have not collected that review. So we are not responsible for that review. You see the distinction?
I get the difference.
So obviously, and so then we are still compliant because we are only responsible for the review we collect inside our own platform. We are not responsible for the third-party review sites reviews. So that's where the marketing of the reviews comes into play, where we display the positive feedback from Google, Facebook, and all the review sites on the review page. So that's how we could help businesses to improve their overall rating and still be compliant. So let me go back here. Basically what we do, and I would like to explain a little bit more about what we do and how we are different and how we are compliant. So I explained the compliance thing. What we do is not just only reputation management or reputation marketing. We are more a customer intelligence platform with reputation marketing features. So we monitor what is being said and listen to the customers, and we help. The ultimate goal here is to help the business build and offer better products and services to improve customer satisfaction. That's our mission. That's what our software is all about. It's not, we are not in the business of hiding negative feedback. We want to know if a customer is not happy. We want to let the business know, and by law, we have to let the world know that this customer was not happy. But what is important here is to give the tool and system to the business to be able to respond to those negative feedback and to show, to demonstrate to the world that yes, we are not perfect, but we are taking care very much about this situation where a customer isn't happy, and we are doing everything in our power to reverse the trend and to correct the issue. And that is extremely powerful when someone that is reading the negative feedback and can read a very intelligent and well done response from the business owner, that tells a lot. And that makes the negative feedback pretty much even more powerful than a 5-star review. So what we do also is we increase the social proof by broadcasting the feedback when we get positive reviews to as many prospect and consumer as we can reach. So basically, when we collect a positive feedback, we will broadcast and promote, turn that positive feedback into a social post that we will broadcast to social media like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and Google. So that turns the review into basically free advertising that could also, in relation to paid advertising like Adwords, when you pay, you spend money to acquire a new customer, they have the experience, and when they have the experience, we ask them for the feedback. And if we can turn that positive feedback into free advertising, basically we are helping the agency to leverage the investment and get an even better return on investment, because then you not only you get results from your ad spend, but you get more results from organic and free exposure through the ad spend you just invested on. So that's also very important, interesting for paid advertising. So basically, so Aegis in Greek, in ancient Greek, means the shield. So we act as a shield to protect the reputation crisis. And the thing is, the system does all the work for you, so you don't have to do that manually. What we do is we monitor and aggregate reviews from more than 650 sites, review sites and social media across the globe. And in the US alone, we monitor and aggregate reviews from more than 170 review sites. So that's quite a lot of review sites.
I didn't know there were 657, to be fair. In fact, if you'd have told me there were 100, I'd have been surprised.
Yeah, I would say most of the platform in the US are monitoring between 5 and 30 review sites in the US. We are going way higher than that. So it's we are covering a lot of niches, and we're adding new review sites pretty much every week.
I'm glad I'm not on your dev team.
Yeah. Also, we send an alert to the business owner when they get a review, whether it's a positive one or negative one, so they're not left in the dark. Because most of the time, the one of the biggest issue and challenge is to be aware of what's what's happening, what is said about the business online. So by automating the process, we help the business in that situation. So we also collect all the reviews on the review page. Like I said, this review page is a standalone site, but we also embed that page on the business website and on the Facebook page as an embedded page. So let me show you quickly how it looks on a business here on the business website. And this is how we get the star snippet activated, because we have a plugin for the major CMS where we can activate the star snippet. So as you can see, this is the review page for that business inside their review page, inside their website. So
that's just a code snippet, isn't it, they're using for that?
Yes, correct.
So guys, anyone who's got the website access, drop the code snippet in and it appears. No programming or effort required particularly.
Yeah, and if you want, most of the time we do that for you. So you just give us access to the back end of the website and we implement everything for you. So it's even easier. Go back here. So we also have a 5-way to authenticate the customer who leaves a review. So I will show you in a moment how it works, but basically we are offering those social logins to the consumer to identify himself. So we can control, because we moderate the review, we can control who is leaving a review, and it also allows the business to report the review if he suspect that this is not a customer. So then we have a whole bunch of system and processes in place to control that. Also, we are offering widgets. So that's pieces of code that the business can embed on his website on the top of the review page. So for example, sliders of reviews on the front page, that type of thing, or banners, whether it's a square or a rectangle type of widget. So we also have a Facebook app. So we create the Facebook page, we embed that into the Facebook business page. We also integrate with Zapier. So if you want to create automated review requests from your own system, you can do that. And we also have an API where we fully integrate with software as a service applications, which allows us to be connected to more than 98% of all the dentists and chiropractors and that type of health industry niches, where we connect directly with their CRM. So as soon as an invoice has been raised, the dentist doesn't have to ask for the review. It's sent automatically to the patient. Do we have time for a quick demo, or
go for it?
Where are we?
I've already had people asking for exactly that. So Philippe, go for it.
Okay, good. So, okay, I'm going to go into the back end of the software. So one thing could be of interest to you guys is that the back end is in 4 languages. So if you have clients that are speaking Spanish, for example, you can do that. We have French and Italian as well. So basically, this is what you see as an agency. You have, this is the inside of the platform. As an agency, you have access to all your clients here, and also what you can, so you can select any type of business. What you see here is the overall average results across all the clients So that gives you a pulse on your market. But if you want to see a specific business results, you just select the business, and then you would see exactly just the results for that business. So let me go here in companies and locations. So I won't go too much in detail into the whole stats we offer here. There's a lot of stats, but what I'd like to show here is more the process on how it works on the user's perspective. So let's take, for example, this restaurant here. We're going to visit his review page, and we are going to leave a review. So let's say that I'm very happy with this restaurant, and I give a title to my experience, and I will just be lazy and copy that text. Obviously, I would delete that review. So now I just click submit. And because I'm on the public page, I need to identify myself. That's how we get verified customers. So I can choose one of those social login, and I would choose Facebook for this demo purpose. I would say like 90% of people, they choose the Facebook login because it's easy and convenient. So now I have my review here, and the system asks, okay, who took care of you? So you can now tag one or several employees or servers who took care of you, served you. You can also search by, if you have been noticing the first name of the employee on their shirt, they maybe have a name tag on their shirt. You can search, for example, you can search Patrick, and it will show up the guy named Patrick. So that's very easy. And then they have to certify that they respect the terms and services. And then they will click agree and submit. And the next step is something we introduced recently because we also ask for the phone number, but let's switch that. So what you see here is what we introduced 6 months ago, and we call that the reviews KPIs, and KPIs for key performance indicator, right? So what we found is that it was great to collect reviews, whether it's negative or positive, and obviously positive were more interesting for the business, but we found that something was missing. We were not able, unless the explanation or the description of the experience was very detailed, we were not able to tell exactly why the customer was happy or was not happy. That's why we introduce KPIs. So we give the opportunity to the customer to quickly sub-rate his experience. So it can choose different ratings across those 5 KPIs, which are obviously customizable for each business. And then they would move that to the next step. So on the back end, the business will collect all those data and see the stats. So they can have really interesting insights on why the customer is happy or not, and where they can improve and focus their time and energy. So the next step is where the customer can leave a photo or video. So I won't do that now. And that becomes interesting. If you remember, I logged in using my Facebook profile, and also I left a positive feedback. So because of that, we are asking the customer, would you like to share your review on your newsfeed, on your personal newsfeed? We're not talking here about the business broadcasting the positive feedback to the business review site, a review page and social media. We're talking about the customer shouting out about that business on their own newsfeed. So let's say yes, and let's head over my Facebook profile, and it should be showing up here. As you can see, the review just showed up here on my personal newsfeed. Hey, I just wrote a review and gave a 5-star rating to this business. Here, so we have the business information, my name, where the platform is coming from. So whether it's from a TripAdvisor, from a Google, from whatever the review is, the logo of the review sites will show up. And here, since it's within our platform, it's our logo. But basically, you get the point. It's the customer who is promoting on behalf of the business, pretty much like it's online word of mouth at its best. So that's very powerful. Now, since we left a positive feedback, we show them a thank you video where we explain that we are super happy, etc. We even show the transcript of the video for deaf people, for example. But we also make it very easy for the customer to now copy the review they just left and go on one of those social sites or review sites and publish that positive feedback, share that positive feedback on those platforms. So they just have to click copy and go to either Google, Facebook, or Yelp. So that's how you can collect and add an interesting number of positive feedback to those platforms. And again, it's still absolutely compliant because we have collected and published the reviews, whether it's positive or negative. Then what we do here, it's marketing the reviews. We are no longer in the monitoring side of the review where we have by law to publish it. Now we are marketing the positive ones, and this again is still compliant. So obviously you can choose.
Question.
Yep.
People are asking, why would a customer do that? Why would they take the extra steps? In your experience, do they?
Yes, they do. On average, around 30 to 40% of people do that. If they had a really good experience, they will be more than happy to do that because we explain in the video here why it's so important. So I will not play the video here, but we explain to them, we ask them that as a favor. We explain that it's obviously very important for the business, but it's also very important for the other customers that could benefit from the experience of the current.
Yeah, and I understand a couple of guys have commented, really, Ricardo, Tom, it's hard enough to get them to give you a review in the first place. I completely agree with both those comments. But if the data that you've got from your platform tells you that 30 to 40% of strongly positive reviews will then do it, I'll go with the data every time.
Yeah, so that's, again, it could vary depending on the industries, but what we have in place as well is if they left this page without clicking on one of those links, we are sending an email follow-up with a reminder, would you please leave a review? And inside the email, we provide them with the content, the copy of their review, so they just have to copy and paste. So they might do it, they might not do it, but that's another step that we take to improve and increase the share of the positive feedback.
Agreed. Makes sense.
So that's it in terms of the customer journey. Now, the steps, the things, the business starts to work on the back end. So that's where, when we collect a positive feedback, we turn that into a social post. We broadcast that to the various platforms, and we collect on the back end. We collect, so when the customer used the Facebook profile, for example, or Google profile or whatever, we collect the information available publicly. So like like their name and email and phone number, etc. And let me show you how it looks. Try to find an English one. No, this one is an email, so not very interesting. Let's see. Yeah, a Google one. So we have their email address, their phone number, their IP address, where they're located. So that data is available to the business owner. So if the customer left a negative feedback, especially, they could reach out to that customer to trying to find a solution and fix the problem. And also here, they will see the review they left and all the history of reviews on this user profile as well. So that's what's happening on the back end. So talking about broadcast, that's what I'm talking about. Here we have the broadcast center where we see all the reviews that are broadcasted, turned into a social post, and broadcasted to the business, social, real estate, and review sites for extra exposure. So that's where you control everything. Quickly, what is interesting here is the reputation control, where the business can respond to, first monitor and check his stats, but also monitor and respond to all the reviews from one place. So they can either respond straight on the platform, so they leave their feedback and click save, or if it's a third-party website, they could respond straight on Google from the inside of the platform. And as you can see, this review is when the business believes that the review is not legitimate. So they send a message to our moderation team, and we will review the review to decide if it's a review that needs to be removed or not. How much time do we have left?
We have a couple of minutes. They're actually turning the lights up in the building at the moment.
Okay.
They were just knocked on my door a few minutes ago.
Okay. So I won't go too much in depth into the platform demo. What I would suggest is for people who are interested to learn more is to book a demo call with me, and we could go in detail in.
Yeah, and I think that's the best thing here. This is a really technical subject. There's lots to think about, and I would love there's no buy button here, guys. Sorry for anybody who's waiting for a buy now button. There isn't a buy now button. If this is something that you want to have reputation in place and you want to look at an alternative provider, or if you're thinking about offering it and you want to start with a legally compliant platform from the start, that's why we're here today. Philippe, if you can just copy that URL and put it into the webinar chat, that will be awesome. Do you want to add anything to that comment about in terms of the fact that your platform is white label?
Yes, it is white label, and I will show you something that is pretty cool about that. So where is that thing? Oh, here we go.
It should be in your Zoom screen.
Yeah, in the Q&A.
No, in the chat one.
Oh yeah, in the
webinar chat.
Webinar chat. Where is that?
No, it will be in your Zoom browser thing, your actual window where you see your face. In fact, because you're showing your screen, it moves. So on the menu bar where you go on options, and you should see the option in the chat, just by the chat box. Much as we love Zoom for webinars, I forget that not everybody else uses it every day. So you should find it there.
What if I...
Yeah, on the bottom of your screen now, you should see an icon that says chat. You see that icon and just paste it in the bottom. Failing that, put it on the screen and I'll do it. I'll type it.
That's weird.
That's
I
probably
don't
quicker.
Yeah.
A couple of people
okay.
asking about pricing, Philippe. Is that something you want to talk about? I think there's a pricing page that you showed briefly.
Sure. So
bring your screen back up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's not shared. Okay.
So I can see your calendar link and I can type it into everybody.
Yeah, okay. Give me 1 second to share this screen again.
Okay, I'll start typing. You start talking, I'll start typing.
Okay. Yeah, so what I'm going to show you is the white label version. So yes, the platform is absolutely white label. We also provide you with a white label website that you can attach to your own domain, and off you go. You can send traffic to that if you want to sell the service. So that's something pretty easy. And I'm once Rob is done copying the link, I will show you how
the link is done. You're good to go.
I'm good to go? Okay, good.
You're good to go. It's in the chat, everybody. If you have a look at the webinar chat, you will see the link in there.
So let's see. So we have two versions of the white label. We have a getmorepatients.reviews. This is if you are dealing with health practitioners. So you have access to that website, and also we have a get more. I think it's get more customers that reviews, where you can no, it's clients. It was one or the other. Well, it's maybe not online, so it's let's stick to the patients versions for now. So basically, you can add that and to your website as a white label version, and you can connect your calendar here. So that's something that is helpful for agency, I've been told. So in terms of pricing, so the standard package to have access to the white label agency account is 25 accounts. So that means that you can sell the service to 25 of your clients, and the price for 25 locations is $690 per month for 25 locations. So you divide $690 by 25. As a webinar special for Rob's audience, we are reducing the amount of location to have access to the white label agency account, and we reduced that from 25 to only 10, and the cost per location is $34 per month per business. So that means in terms of retail, how much can you retail that to your clients? So it depends on the niche and depends on the industry you're working with. If it's a small mom and pop shop or a small restaurant, typically agencies are reselling this at $99 per month for a small business. If it's a dentist, a chiro, plastic surgeon, that type of high-paying clients, agencies are selling that service $2.99 per month easily, and up to $4.99. This is for corporate and large corporation, big businesses, and that type of thing. So I'm going to show you the type of earnings and what you can expect from that. So as bonuses, we are going to not only provide you with the white label website so you can promote the service, but we also going to allow you to create your own account within the platform without taking one of those 10 locations. So you can also collect reviews and activate the star snippet for your own agency. Also, what we're going to add as a bonus is an agency client acquisition chatbot, because for those who know me, I'm also deep into the messenger marketing automations. So we're going to add that to the agency white label website. We're also going to add to install on your website the star snippet. And if you're considering switching from an existing platform to our platform, we would proceed with a white gloves migration of your clients to our platform, so you don't have to take care of that. We do that for you. It's absolutely hands-off, and you don't have to touch a thing. We take all the headaches of doing that. And finally, you will have a top manager support via Skype. So you will be able to interact with us, ask us questions, and you will have access to the top manager in the support system. So that's very important, especially for agencies. They often, you guys have a lot of questions and a lot of technical challenges that you have to face, and we are there to respond to them very quickly. And we are pretty good at doing that. So that's in a nutshell what we can offer. So yeah, again, feel free to book a demo with me so we can go in detail inside the platform and show you how it works. Just a quick look at the potential earnings. So basically what you need to offset the cost of the platform is to get 2 clients, whether it's at $99. If you have a setup cost of $99 and the first month of $99, you just need 2 clients. That will be a $396 for the first month with 2 clients, and you offset the cost for the first month. And then if you just add 1 or 2 clients every month at $99 a month, you will have an extra income of $20,000. What is important here is to realize that this service is pretty much a set and forget system. And once you get used to the system, you will need probably less than 40 minutes to onboard a client. The moment you get all the information from them to build their account. Personally, it takes me 25 to 30 minutes to create an account when I have all the information. So if you're new to the system, you will need probably a bit more time, maybe up to 1 hour. But once you get used to it and you have onboarded 4 or 5 clients, it would take you less than 40 minutes. So that's the small local. If you are dealing with high-paying clients, then you can charge them a $299 for the setup and a $299 for the recurring fee. And then as a set and forget system, again, if you add 1 client every month, you could add a $61,000 recurring income as a set and forget, pure passive income for your agency. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. And then if you're targeting corporate and big businesses, then the setup cost would be 1,500, sorry, and same thing for the recurring. So then obviously the amount are different, and you may not land as many clients, but again, it's a set and forget system, so it could become very profitable very quickly.
And Philippe, am I right in thinking that the price of the platform is per location effectively? So in the 340, you get 10 locations, but you charge your clients per location on the same basis?
Yes, correct. So yes, your cost as an agency is $34 per month per business, but you charge the business $99 or $299 per month per business. So you pay $34 and you resell it $99 and up to $4.99. So you make a quite significant margin on this, considering it's a set and forget. So it's not like a Facebook campaign or Adwords campaign where if you let Rob taking care of it, it's pretty much set and forget as well. But if you do any kind of service that requires your undivided attention, that obviously takes a lot of time and efforts. Here, once the system is set up, you just forget about it because everything is automated. We collect the reviews. It's very, very hands-off system. So also what I wanted to add here that I've not mentioned here, but I'm going to offer you something that is pretty cool. So it's a 14-day trial, which is regular. We offer the 14-day trial anyway. But what I'm going to add to that is giving you the possibility as a test for offering that as a proof of concept to your client is to send an email with a review request sequence to 500 of their customer. If they have a list, you will just need to upload the list to the system. We'll send that to all the customers, and you will collect reviews. And the deal here is when you talk to the clients, you say, listen, I'm going to run that as a test, as a proof of concept. And if we collect X amount of reviews, let's say 5 reviews or whatever, then are you good to approve the system? And then that's how you can sign them very easily. And you can get your 2 clients quite quickly. So that's what I'm going to add. In terms of ongoing process, we offer unlimited amount of emails. So whether you have a small client with a small list, or you have a big client with a huge list of dozens of thousands and even more, we don't charge extra for that. You can also send review requests by SMS, which I think is important for some of you.
Sending review requests by SMS is pretty awesome. I don't know if yours is the only platform that does that, but either way, it's awesome. We have one client where they only get email addresses from about a third of their customers. So for us, it's critical that SMS message to get reviews is available. It's the only way they can do it. They can't hit the goal with 150 without doing that. So it solves a major pain point for them. And I think for me, having everything put together to actually be able to sell is a massive advantage here, because clearly ROI is important. And I think I'm really, really pleased to be able to bring this today, because there's no buy button here. There's no, hey, you got to have this now. There's a very considered, sensible approach to, making a decision about a business software for your business. So I think that's, a really refreshing, nice way to handle something, and I'm delighted to be part of that.
Yeah.
Are you okay if I pick a few questions for you?
Sure, fire.
So let me just try and grab those. I'm going to go through them quickly. We are very, very late, and we're relatively short of time. So let me try and pick up a few as quick as I can. What I will do is I'll download the chat from everybody anyway today, and after the event we will follow up. So don't worry about that. If we've got a question on here that isn't answered, I will get it for you. Farah asks, can we ask clients to get a review on their behalf? Not quite sure I understand the question actually. Farah, could you clarify what your intention is there? I'm not quite sure I fully understand. Jimmy asks, are these emails sent out from your platform or from one autoresponder?
You can do both. Actually, you can use our servers or you can connect your own SMTP. So let me show you real quick. Here. So this is the reputation builder. This is where you can add a new customer either manually or a bulk import. So you import a CSV file or an Excel spreadsheet. And here in the settings, you choose your email server. So either you choose the platform or your own custom server. So you can put your SMTP information.
Perfect. Question about SMS messaging.
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect the cost in terms of the cost of the SMS messaging? Is that included in the subscription? Is there additional charge for it? And so that you need to be concerned about?
So we don't charge for it because we allow you to connect your own SMS platform. So what we do is we support 4 SMS platforms, Twilio for those of you who are in the US and worldwide, and other platforms for these different countries because it's more cost effective. So we don't charge you. You just connect your Twilio account and off you go. It's you control the expense on that.
Gotcha.
We don't make any margin out of that.
Yeah. So essentially, guys, bring your own to the farm. But if you can use Twilio, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Dave asks an interesting question. Is it legal to incentivize customers to leave a review?
It's a gray area. So the law text says that you can incentivize a customer to leave a review, but as a review administrator, you have to disclose that the review has been collected against a compensation. So
Gotcha.
you have to let the world know that this review is not could not be as genuine as it could be, but that is it. The customer got compensated in some
Gotcha.
shape or form.
Understand. Another question for Lee that's come in. Do you have anything that supports lead generation? So, for example, some platforms have things like, reputation audits and those kind of things. I don't know if that's something you do in or not.
We don't as such, because the problem is most of it's a very difficult topic because most of those, I assume you're talking about some kind of reputation report or that type of thing.
Yeah. Effectively lead generation. You're going out to prospects and saying, "Hey, this is the current status of your reputation. Would you like to make it? Would you like some help?" I guess.
The problem is that it's very difficult and to be really accurate and in that type of reporting because we don't have access to the back end of all those systems because we are not connected to those. So it will only be, and I've been trying most of those lead gen system, and I would say 100% of the time, the results were not really accurate. So it gives a trend. It gives an idea. It could be a good way to start a conversation, but sometimes the reports are so off the charts that you just look as an idiot because the data is completely wrong. What you've collected is completely out of the reality. So I've stopped to use that, and we thought about doing that as well, but it's such a complex thing. If you really want to make it work, it would be almost a complete platform as complex as the one we have built here.
I think let's not worry too much about it. I think providing there are other ways to generate leads, which clearly there are, then that's not something that you'd be a concern.
Yeah, personally, what I've found is that very often marketers are getting paralyzed trying to find a good automated way to generate leads for that type of service. And so they don't take action because they don't get what they need to do. What I found is the best way to proceed is to go online, target a niche. You search for the business on Google. Simply doing that, you check those who are spending money on AdWords. You check their reputation. You give them a call or you send them an email, and you talk to them. And you get way more results than just spamming the hell out of those people.
And I would agree completely with that. Let me just see if we can take one last question, guys. I apologize if we do have to cut it off, but I will make sure that we follow up, as I said before, with anything that's not answered. So there was one question that caught my eye, and I've just lost it in the chat box momentarily. Bear with me 1 second, guys. I've just lost it for a second. Yeah, Matt asks, who are the best types of prospects do you find for this kind of service? Those who are already got a positive reputation, or those who have a negative reputation? I think I know what your answer is going to be, but...
Well, obviously the businesses with a poor reputation are the low-hanging fruits because they are in pain. So obviously they will be listening to you very openly. However, businesses with a good reputation, what you have to check is if their reviews are fresh. What I call fresh is they have a lot of reviews, but they also have a lot of very new reviews, because there is an obsolescence. Is it an English word?
Yeah, that's the correct word. That's spot on.
Okay, good. That
by
at
the
some
way, full credit for doing a webinar in second language. That's an impressive feat. I'm not sure I'd like to try that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your understanding and your yeah. So the thing is, reviews are expiring, especially with platforms like Google and that type of big platforms at some point. And what is even more important, a customer consider a review obsolete after 30 days.
Yeah,
that's very short. So what does that mean? That means you need to collect fresh reviews at least every month to get the customer reading the reviews, having a good perspective on the business. Otherwise, if the reviews are too old, they will go after the competition. So that's why it's important to have a system in place where each and every day you collect new reviews, not only to reach the critical mass of 150 in Google to be able to activate the snippet in AdWords, but also to stay on the top in the search engines and to be considered as a trustworthy business because your reviews are always fresh.
Absolutely. Guys, my apologies, we will have to leave it there. We are well over time, and I thank you all for your patience and your time attending.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for your attention. Really appreciate.
My aim today is two things. One, primarily, my prime objective today is to make everybody aware that of the conversation that came a little while ago, is that actually the world of reviews that you probably thought you operated in when you joined this webinar and the world of reviews that you actually operate in are different. If you thought you were offering a marketing service with some terms of service potential issues and some terms of service gaming potentially on the various platforms with very little downside, that's not the case. We're operating in a service provider that has regulatory and legal issues. Therefore, we have to take that really seriously. You don't just get booted off Facebook. You get a nasty letter come through the post that you really don't want to deal with. And whether it's you or the client, it's not a good place to be. It's really important that everybody understands the difference, that you're clear as to what you're offering, and make sure, just one final tip from me, make sure you have good business insurance in place. Regardless of reputation, make sure you have good business insurance in place. Over here we call it professional indemnity. I think in the US it's not called professional indemnity. It's something like errors insurance. But make sure that you've got the insurance in place for the services that you offer, regardless of this, because just in case somebody ever does decide that they don't like what you've done for them or they think you've hurt your business, because they can come after you. And if you're uninsured, it can be painful. So take these things seriously. Risk in business is a really important thing. And one of the first things I was told when I started working with a business coach was, focus on getting risk out of your business first. Focus on growing your business second, because you can't grow a business if it's dead because it took a stupid risk. So my advice to everybody is deal with risk first. Then make sure if you're offering reputation, and I think you should, by the way, I think reputation is a great service. I love it. That's why we're here. But if you're going to offer it and you want to offer it, do it the right way. I know owners of other platforms. In fact, I spoke to two of them yesterday. Literally this time yesterday, I was speaking to one of the owners of a reputation platform that many of you would know is a direct competitor here. But I know it's not compliant. And that's why we're here today, and they're not, even though they're a friend of mine. So, Philippe, awesome job. Everybody, if you wouldn't mind saying a quick thank you to Philippe in the chat box.
Quick answer to one question. I see Jimmy is asking if the platform can post video reviews if the client produces the video reviews. Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. So guys, thank you so much. We will do our absolute best to get the replay out tomorrow. We'll consolidate any questions that we think are unanswered and we'll get those out to you as well. So guys, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy it. Do something constructive with it. If you haven't already booked an appointment with Philippe, get on his calendar and we'll get it taken care of from there for you guys. Take care. Bye for now.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Rob. Bye-bye.
Bye.